Welcome to Wisdom Unveiled. Today, we're really diving into the world of the great Persian poet Hafez Shirazi.
That's right. We're drawing from those fantastic Marifat audio files, specifically the discussions between Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani.
Exactly. And this is our 12th exploration in this series of 40. We're focusing purely on Hafez today, guided by these Iranian philosophers' insights.
It's a rich source, definitely.
And just a quick heads up for everyone listening, these conversations were originally in Persian. We've done our best with the translation, but, language is tricky.
Oh, absolutely. Nuances can sometimes get a bit lost, so we hope you'll understand if there are slight discrepancies. We apologize for any that might crop up.
Thanks. So our mission today, we're zooming in on the very beginning of one specific ghazal by Hafez. Just the opening line, really, to start.
Yeah, we want to unpack the layers there. The ghazal in question starts with, let me get the pronunciation roughly right. Questi ru sob sakeaka dahi por sharab kon dauri falak darang narar de shetab kon.
Okay, and the rough translation you mentioned was something like, "Oh, cupbearer, fill the cup with wine. The celestial sphere has no pause. Hasten." Is that about right?
That's pretty much the gist of it, yes.
Right, so first impression.
Yeah.
Maybe sounds like, "Hey, pour me a drink. Time's flying."
Yeah, it could sound like that. But, with Hafez, it's never just skin deep, is it? There are always these deeper layers.
Always. So let's peel back that first layer. The very first key word here is sob, morning or dawn.
Sob, yes. Literally sunrise, start of the day. But Dr. Larijani, he points to something, deeper.
Go on.
He suggests it's not just about the sun coming up, it's more symbolic. It represents a moment, a potential moment for spiritual awakening.
Like breaking out of darkness.
Inner darkness.
Exactly.
Right.
Shaking off ignorance, negligence, that kind of inner fog. Think of it as a spiritual sunrise, maybe? A chance to wake up inside.
A spiritual sunrise. I like that, but it's fleeting.
That's the key point Dr. Larijani emphasizes. It's transient. It doesn't hang around.
So you've got to grab it, seize that moment. Right. It demands attention, action, now.
Okay, so an inner dawning, a flash of awareness, but temporary.
Got it. That leads us straight to the next word. Saqi, the cupbearer.
The Saqi, yes. Literally the person serving the drinks.
Yeah.
But symbolically, both Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani see much more there.
I bet. Not just a bartender, then.
Definitely not. They see the cupbearer as someone quenching a much deeper thirst.
A thirst for knowledge, understanding.
Precisely. For that profound understanding that cuts through the intoxication of ignorance, as they put it.
Intoxication of ignorance. Interesting. So the cupbearer offers something specific.
Yes, they offer what you might call the wine of Gnosis.
Wine of Gnosis. Nice. Knowledge itself.
Yeah, wisdom, insight. So the cupbearer becomes like a guide, doesn't he? Or a teacher, someone who helps spark that spiritual light.
Right. Facilitating illumination. Makes you wonder, who are the cupbearers in our own lives?
That's a really good question to ponder. Okay, so this cupbearer, this guide, is offering this transformative drink. And the specific request is, Kadahi por sharab khan, fill the cup with wine.
Fill it right up. Pour meaning full. Hafez uses wine imagery a lot, of course.
He really does, but let's be clear, we're not talking about, actual Chardonnay here.
No, absolutely not. Both Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani are really firm on this. The wine is symbolic, deeply symbolic.
Symbolic of what, exactly, in their view?
Things like divine knowledge, spiritual insight, even love, a kind of spiritual ecstasy. It's an intoxication, sure, but one that lifts the spirit, not just, earthly pleasure.
Gotcha. And why the emphasis on pour, on full? Why a full cup?
Well, it really dials up the urgency, doesn't it, and the intensity of the desire. It's about fully embracing that moment of awakening, that sob.
No half measures.
Exactly. A little sip won't cut it. It suggests the spiritual thirst is, profound. It needs a full measure.
And it's often true, isn't it? The more you learn, the more you realize there is to learn.
That's it, exactly. More knowledge often just makes you thirstier for more understanding. So a full cup is almost necessary to even begin.
Okay, that clicks. Which brings us to the second half of the line. Dawari falak darang nadaraj chatabkan. The celestial sphere has no pause. Hasten. Wow, the pace picks up there.
It really does. And to get this, we kind of need to remember the worldview back then.
Right. The whole Ptolemaic system was still dominant, wasn't it? Time was literally tied to the heavens turning.
Exactly. So darang nadarad, no pause, no hesitation, means time as they understood it. Just keeps rolling on relentlessly, continuously.
Unstoppable. It really highlights how temporary everything is. Life, opportunities, They're all just slipping away.
It has echoes of Omar Khayyam, that feeling.
Yes,
Mhm.
Dr. Larijani makes that connection explicitly, that shared sense of the present moment being incredibly valuable, but also incredibly short-lived.
Yeah. So Shitab Khan Hasten isn't just friendly advice, it's an order, an urgent command.
An imperative. Act now. Grab that spiritual chance before it's gone. Don't wait.
And Dr. Dinani connects this idea of time passing, of moments lost forever, to a really interesting philosophical idea.
Oh yeah, the Yadi Madam. The return of the non-existent.
That's the one.
Yeah.
His point is, once a moment passes, it ceases to exist, it becomes non-existent, and it can never truly come back. You can't retrieve it.
Wow. That really drives home the preciousness of now.
It really does. It makes Hasten feel even heavier.
Does he contrast that with anything?
Yes. Interestingly, he does mention the later concept from Mulla Sadra, Harkat-e Johari, or substantial motion.
Which is the idea that things are constantly changing at their very core.
Exactly. A more dynamic view, perhaps, where the essence itself is always in flux. But Dr. Dinani suggests that Hafez, here in this line, seems closer to that older view. Time is this unstoppable river linked to the heavens, carrying moments away forever.
Hence the urgency. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, there's another really crucial word that comes up later in the ghazal, but that both doctors discuss in relation to these themes. Kharab. Ruined or intoxicated.
Kharab. Yes, that's a huge one in Hafez. Really powerful, and Dr. Dinani highlights its dual nature.
Dual nature. How so?
Well, on one hand, Kharab can refer to the literal decay, the ruin that time brings to the physical world. Entropy, things fall apart.
The inevitable decline.
Right. The world itself is subject to becoming Kharab. But then there's this other meaning, which is maybe even more central to Hafez, a spiritual ruin.
Spiritual ruin.
Yeah, a state the mystic actually seeks. It's about being overwhelmed, consumed, ruined by divine love, by that wine of gnosis we talked about. Think of lines like, Maraz Badai Golgun Kharab Khan, ruin us with the rosy wine.
To being ruined is good. That sounds paradoxical.
It absolutely is, and that's the point. Dr. Dinani makes a distinction. There's the destructive ruin of the world, and then there's a constructive ruin brought about by the divine.
Constructive ruin. What did that look like?
He calls it Kharab-e Abad, a ruin that builds. This divine wine, this knowledge, it helps tear down the ego.
Dismantling the self.
Mm-hmm.
Getting rid of attachments.
Exactly. It ruins our attachment to the small stuff, the temporary things, the parts of us that hold us back. It kind of clears the site for real spiritual building.
And this ties into the Sufi idea of the Kharab-e Abad, right? The Tavern of Ruin.
Yes, precisely. Dr. Dinani explains this beautifully, drawing on Sheikh Mahmoud Shabastari. The Kharab-e Abad isn't just a pub, it's a symbol. It's the place you go to deliberately break free.
Break free from what?
From empty rules, from social pressures, from selfish desires, from all the things that chain the soul down.
So it's a place of liberation.
Absolutely. Shabastari called it the abode of the bird of the soul and the abode of the placeless, a space beyond ordinary limits. So becoming Kharab in that Sufi sense means finding inner freedom. It's a kind of surrender that actually leads to flourishing.
Like tearing down a rundown shack to build a palace?
That's a great analogy. It's intentional demolition for a higher purpose.
Okay, that totally shifts how I think about ruin. Now let's look at the second couplet they bring into the discussion. Koshide meze mashrega sagar tulukad. Garbargish mitalabi tarke kabkan. The son of wine rose from the east of the cup. If you seek the leaf of eternal life, abandon sleep. Again, just packed with imagery.
It really is. Let's take the first part. Khurshid-e-May, the son of wine.
Son of wine. So this knowledge, this wine, isn't just intoxicating. It's bright, luminous.
Exactly. Radiant like the sun, giving light.
And it rises from the Mashre Sagar, the east of the cup. Why the east? The cup's right here, isn't it?
Well, yes, the cup is the immediate source. But Dr. Dinani suggests east might hint at something more. The east, traditionally, as the source of wisdom, of spiritual light.
So a geographical direction with a symbolic weight.
Could be. He even connects it to Sohrab Sapari's idea of the West representing spiritual alienation, and the East being the origin, the source of light and understanding.
That adds a philosophical layer.
Yeah, and even historically, right. Many spiritual traditions did arise in the geographical East. So Hafez could be tapping into that whole complex of ideas, wisdom's light coming from the East, channeled through the cup.
Fascinating. Okay, then we have Bargi-ish, the leaf of eternal life. What's that about?
Borgi-ish. It points to a true, lasting life. An existence beyond the physical decay, beyond that worldly Kharab. It's about finding something enduring.
And you get this leaf. How?
Through the knowledge, the awakening. That's the path to finding real meaning, something that lasts.
Which leads right into the final command of this couplet. Tarki Kabkan. Abandon sleep.
Right. And again, clearly not talking about hitting the snooze button.
No. It's the sleep of...
Ignorance. Negligence. Just being unaware, drifting along without real consciousness. Hafez is saying, wake up.
Wake up to
reality.
To the need for this knowledge, for contemplation. You can't find that bargi-ish, that eternal life, if you're spiritually asleep. It makes you think of that hadith, doesn't it?
the one. People are asleep, and when they die, they awaken.
That's the one. So Hafez is basically yelling, wake up now. Before death forces you awake, live consciously, engage now.
Wow. So in just these first two couplets, he's woven together. Let's see. Seizing the moment, the power of this divine knowledge, breaking free through a kind of constructive ruin, and this urgent call to wake up to real life.
It's incredible, isn't it? The density of meaning. He maps out a whole spiritual journey in just a few lines.
Urgency, transformation, freedom, awakening. It's all there, just masterful.
Absolutely.
Okay, so as we start to wrap up this particular deep dive, let's just quickly pull together the main threads from Dr. Dinani and Dr. Larijani's readings.
Sure. We saw Sob, the morning isn't just sunrise, but that crucial fleeting chance for inner awakening.
And the Saqi, the Cupbearer, offers the Badeh, the wine of divine knowledge and love. A guide, really.
The urgency comes from Dawri Falak Daring Nadarad, time's relentless flow demanding Shatabkan, hasten.
Then there was Kharab, ruin, with its dual-meaning worldly decay, versus that necessary constructive spiritual ruin of the ego.
And the second couplet brought in the Khorshidi-me, the radiant sun of wine rising from the Mashrei Sagar, the symbolic east, the source within the cup.
All leading towards the Bargi-ish, that leaf of eternal life, which requires us to Tarki Kabkan, abandon the sleep of ignorance.
Exactly. It all connects, showing just how layered Hafez's poetry is.
It really does. Which kind of leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? Thinking about our own lives.
Yeah.
Those mornings, those little moments of clarity or insight we sometimes get.
Yeah, those fleeting moments where you feel a nudge towards something deeper.
How do we actually seize those moments? How do we make sure we drink that wine of understanding when it's offered, maybe from an unexpected cupbearer?
And maybe even trickier, how do we embrace that necessary constructive ruin? How do we let go of the stuff, the habits, the belief that actually holds us back from really growing?
Good questions. Because it seems like it's not a one-time thing, right? It's an ongoing process of waking up, as Hafez suggests.
Maybe it just starts with noticing those moments of inner dawn when they happen.
A great place to start. Well, thank you for joining us for this exploration into the profound depths of Hafez.